My daughter didn't know about my $40,000 monthly income. Her husband said, "Send this old woman to a home." I was folding my grandson's pajamas when I heard it. The laundry basket was warm. The dryer had just finished. I remember the smell of that lavender fabric softener my daughter Jennifer buys at Target. I remember the way the sun came through the kitchen window and hit the tile floor in that perfect square of light. I remember thinking I should water the hydrangeas out front before the afternoon heat killed them. That was my life then. Small thoughts, safe thoughts. The kind of thoughts a 72-year-old woman is supposed to have while folding her 5-year-old grandson's Star Wars pajamas. Then I heard Mark's voice through the baby monitor. I had forgotten the monitor was on. It sat on the kitchen counter next to the fruit bowl. Jennifer and Mark used it to listen for Leo when he napped upstairs. But Leo wasn't napping that afternoon. He was at preschool. And Mark wasn't in the nursery. He was in the garage. He thought I was outside watering the hydrangeas. He thought I couldn't hear him. But I heard every single word. "She doesn't need to know about the account. Just get her to sign the power of attorney. My mom signed hers over to me last year. It's easy. She trusts us. She's old. She doesn't even remember what she had for breakfast." That was Mark, my son-in-law, the man who called me mom for 15 years, the man who held my hand at my husband Richard's funeral. The man who told me I could live with them after the cancer diagnosis, after the surgery, after the treatments that left me too weak to live alone. He said those words in a calm voice, like he was talking about refinancing the mortgage or picking up takeout. Then Jennifer spoke. "I know, but she's not stupid, Mark. She raised 3 kids, she ran a business. She's not just going to hand everything over." I felt my chest tighten. The pajamas fell out of my hands. They landed on the floor, and I just stared at them. The little stormtrooper pattern. Leo loved those pajamas. I bought them for him last Christmas. I'm not saying she's stupid. I'm saying she's 72. She's lonely. She's grateful. We took her in. We gave her a room. We let her be part of Leo's life. She won't question us. She loves us. There was a pause. I heard a car door close somewhere outside. A dog barked 2 houses down. Normal sounds, suburban sounds. But my heart was slamming against my ribs like a trapped bird. "Okay, then what's the plan?" Jennifer's voice was quieter now, like she didn't even want the walls to hear her. "The plan is simple. We get her to sign the power of attorney. Then we transfer the house, the one on Maple Street, the one that's paid off. She thinks she's leaving it to us in the will anyway, so we just speed up the timeline. Then we sell it. That's $400,000 minimum, plus her savings, plus the life insurance from Richard." "We're talking over $600,000. And what about her?" Jennifer asked. "What about where she lives? We can find a place, a nice place. There's that facility on Cooper Road, the one with the Medicaid beds. She'll be fine." "Mark, she raised me. She's my mother. And I'm your husband. And we have Leo. And we have bills. And she's been living here for 2 years rent-free, eating our food, using our water. We've done enough." I couldn't breathe. I couldn't move. My hands were shaking so badly I had to grip the edge of the counter. The granite was cold. Richard and I picked out that granite together 23 years ago, before he died, before cancer ate him from the inside out. I remember holding his hand in the hospital and promising him I would be okay. I remember him saying, "Take care of our girl, our Jennifer. She's going to need you." I had kept that promise. I had given Jennifer everything. Every dollar I saved, every hour I worked, every night I stayed up with her when she was sick, every college tuition payment, every wedding expense, every down payment on this house, the house I was standing in, the house I had helped them buy. Richard left me $300,000 in life insurance. I gave Jennifer $100 of it for the down payment. I put another $100 into a college fund for Leo. I kept the last $100 for myself, for retirement, for emergencies. But I never touched it, because I was stupid, because I trusted them. Because I thought love meant giving until you had nothing left. I walked to the garage door that afternoon. My legs felt like they were filled with sand. I opened the door slowly. Mark saw me first. His face went white. Then Jennifer turned around. She was holding a piece of paper, a legal document. The title at the top said Durable Power of Attorney. "Mom," her voice cracked. "We were just talking about something else." I looked at her. My daughter. My only daughter. The baby I held in my arms for 10 hours of labor. The little girl who used to crawl into my bed after nightmares. The teenager who told me she hated me and then cried in my arms an hour later. The bride who looked at me from the altar and mouthed, "I love you." I looked at her, and I didn't recognize her. "I heard everything," I said. Mark stepped forward. "Mom, let us explain." "Don't call me Mom." Jennifer started crying. That was her weapon, her tears. She had been using them on me since she was 2 years old. And for 72 years they worked. But not that day. That day, something in me had finally died. Something that had been dying slowly for a long time. Maybe since Richard got sick and Jennifer visited him only 3 times in 6 months. Maybe since I moved in and she started treating me like a free babysitter instead of her mother. Maybe since Mark started looking at me like I was a problem to be solved instead of family to be loved. "The facility on Cooper Road," I said. "Medicaid beds."
"You already looked into it." Jennifer wiped her face. "Mom, Mark didn't mean that. He was just stressed. Work is hard. Money is tight. We didn't mean anything." "How much money do you think I have?" "What?" "You heard me. How much money do you think I have in my savings account? You've been planning this for a while. You must have done the math." Mark shifted his weight. His jaw tightened. He looked at Jennifer. She looked at the floor. And in that silence, in that ugly, terrible silence, I saw the truth. They had no idea. They had no idea what I was worth. You see, there was something Richard and I never told anyone. Not our parents, not our friends, not our children. When Richard retired from the military, he started investing. Small amounts at first, then bigger. He was good at it, really good. He had a mind for numbers, for patterns, for knowing when to buy and when to sell. By the time he got sick, our portfolio was worth almost $3 million. But we never touched it. We lived modestly, we saved, we invested, we watched it grow. When Richard died, he left everything to me. And I kept investing, quietly, carefully. I worked with a financial advisor named Diane, who I met through a grief support group. Diane was sharp. She was honest. She didn't charge me ridiculous fees. And over the past 6 years, my portfolio had grown to $4.8 million. $4.8 million. But I didn't tell anyone. Not because I was secretive, but because I wanted to see who my family really was. I wanted to see if they loved me for me, or if they loved me for what I could give them. The answer had just come through the baby monitor. "Mom," Jennifer's voice was small now. "Please, come back inside. Let's talk." I looked at the paper in her hand, the power of attorney. Then I looked at Mark. His eyes were different now, not cold anymore, nervous, calculating. He was trying to figure out how much I had heard, how much damage control he needed to do. "You want to know how much money I have?" I said. "Mom, please." I smiled. I don't know why I smiled. Maybe because I finally understood something I had been avoiding for years. Jennifer was never mine. Not really. She was Richard's daughter, and I loved Richard. God knows I loved him. But he wasn't Leo's biological grandfather. That's another secret I carried, another truth I buried. Jennifer was born from an affair Richard had when we were first married. I found out when she was 3 years old. The other woman showed up at my door. She handed me a letter. She said Richard was the father. She said she couldn't raise the baby alone. She asked me to take her. I could have said no. I could have walked away. I could have divorced Richard and started over. But I looked at that little girl, that tiny, innocent baby with her father's eyes, and I took her. I raised her. I never told her the truth. I let her believe I was her biological mother. I let Richard believe I had forgiven him. I never forgave him. I just buried it. Buried it so deep I almost forgot it was there. But now, standing in the garage, watching my daughter scheme with her husband to put me in a Medicaid facility, I remembered everything. "I have a financial advisor," I said. "Her name is Diane. She has full access to my accounts, and she has strict instructions. If I die, if I become incapacitated, if anyone tries to take control of my assets without my explicit written consent, everything goes to charity. Every single dollar." Jennifer's face crumbled. "Mom, you wouldn't." "Try me." Mark grabbed Jennifer's arm. His fingers dug into her skin. She winced but didn't pull away.
That was another thing I noticed. The way he gripped her. The way he talked to her when he thought no one was listening. The way she flinched when he raised his voice. I had seen the signs. I had ignored them because I didn't want to be the mother-in-law who meddled, because I didn't want to lose access to Leo, because I was a coward. But I wasn't a coward anymore. I walked past them into the kitchen. I picked up my phone from the charger. I called Diane. She answered on the second ring. Diane, it's Eleanor. I need you to draft a new trust document. Immediate effect. No power of attorney to anyone. No access for family members. And I need you to put a flag on all my accounts. If anyone tries to transfer funds or change beneficiaries, I want an automatic freeze and notification to the authorities. Diane didn't ask questions.
She just said, okay. That's why I paid her the good money. She knew my history. She knew my fears. She knew that I had spent my whole life giving and giving and giving until there was almost nothing left of me. When I hung up, Jennifer was standing in the kitchen doorway. Mark was behind her. His face was red. His fists were clenched. "You think you're so smart," he said. "You think you can just cut us out? After everything we've done for you? Everything you've done for me?" I laughed. It was an ugly sound, a sound I didn't recognize. "I let you live in this house rent-free for 2 years while you saved for the down payment. I paid for Jennifer's wedding. I paid for Leo's birth. I paid for his first year of daycare. I paid for your car when yours broke down. I paid for Mark's mother's funeral when she died and you couldn't afford it. I paid, and I paid, and I paid. You owed us." Jennifer's voice was sharp now. The tears were gone. The mask was off. "You owed me for all those years you worked late, for all those nights you weren't home, for all those times you chose the business over me." I stared at her. The business? The small bookstore I started when she was 10. The bookstore I built from nothing. The bookstore that paid for her braces, her dance classes, her summer camps, her college, her wedding. That business? She resented me for it, all this time, all these years. She resented me for working to provide for her. "I worked for you," I said. "Everything I did for you." "You did it for yourself. You loved that store more than you loved me." The words hung in the air, heavy and sharp and final. I didn't respond. I couldn't. Because maybe she was right. Maybe I did love the store too much. Maybe I worked too many nights. Maybe I missed too many school plays and parent-teacher conferences. Maybe I wasn't the mother she needed. Maybe I was too busy building something to prove I was more than just the woman who took in her husband's illegitimate child. But I did take her in. I did raise her. I did love her. In my own broken, imperfect way. I loved her. And she wanted to put me in a home. I walked upstairs. I went to the guest room I had called mine for 2 years. I pulled out my suitcases from the back of the closet. I packed my clothes, my books, the framed photo of Richard and me on our wedding day, Leo's handprint art from preschool. Small things, important things, things that reminded me who I was before all of this. Jennifer followed me upstairs. She stood in the doorway. Her arms were crossed. Her face was cold. "Where are you going?" "I don't know yet, but I'm not staying here." "You can't just leave. Leo will ask questions. Then you tell him the truth. Tell him Grandma found out you were planning to steal her money and put her in a Medicaid facility. That's not what we were doing. It's exactly what you were doing. I heard every word." She started crying, real tears this time, ugly tears. The kind that come from a place deeper than manipulation, the kind that come from shame. "I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. Mark put me up to it. He said we needed the money. He said you wouldn't miss it. He said you were old and you didn't need it anymore." Old. There was that word again. Old. Like I was a dog past her prime. Like I was furniture to be discarded. Like 72 years of breathing and bleeding and loving and losing meant nothing. I zipped my suitcase. I carried it downstairs. Mark was in the living room. He was on his phone. He hung up when he saw me. "You're making a mistake," he said. "No, the mistake was trusting you." I walked out the front door. The hydrangeas needed water. The sun was starting to set. The sky was that soft orange color that Richard used to love. He would stand on the porch and watch the sunset every night. He would hold my hand and say, "Look at that. Isn't that beautiful?" And I would say yes, even when I was still angry about Jennifer, even when I hadn't forgiven him. I would say yes, because the sky was beautiful and we were alive, and that had to count for something. I got in my car, a 2018 Honda CR-V, paid for in cash. I started the engine. I pulled out of the driveway. I didn't look back. I drove to a hotel, a Holiday Inn near the highway. Nothing fancy, just a bed and a shower and a TV that played the same 20 channels on a loop. I sat on the edge of the bed. I stared at the wall. And for the first time in my life, I had no idea what to do next. I called Diane the next morning. She met me at a diner near her office. She ordered black coffee. I ordered tea. We sat in a booth by the window, and I told her everything. The affair, Jennifer's real mother, the secrets, the lies, the baby monitor, the power of attorney, the Medicaid facility on Cooper Road. Diane listened. She didn't interrupt. She didn't look shocked. She just nodded and took notes on a yellow legal pad. When I finished, she set down her pen. "Eleanor, I need to ask you something, and I need you to be honest, okay? Do you want to punish them, or do you want to protect yourself?" I thought about it. The truth was ugly. The truth was that part of me wanted to punish them. Part of me wanted to drain my accounts and donate everything to the ASPCA just to watch their faces when they found out. Part of me wanted to write Jennifer out of my will and leave her nothing but a letter explaining who her real mother was. But that part of me was the hurt part, the angry part, the part that wanted to burn everything down because I was already burning. "I want to protect myself," I said. "I don't want to be alone, but I don't want to be used anymore." Diane nodded. "Then here's what we do. We set up a living trust. You are the trustee. You control everything. We name a successor trustee, not Jennifer, not Mark, someone outside the family, someone you trust. Like you, like me, if you want. I'm honored. But Eleanor, you also need to think about where you want to live. You can't stay in a hotel forever, and you can't go back to that house. I know, there are good retirement communities, independent living, places where you have your own apartment, your own kitchen, your own space, but with people your age, activities, meals, security. It's not a nursing home. It's not Medicaid. It's a community. I hated the word community. It sounded like a euphemism for waiting to die. But Diane was right. I couldn't go back to Jennifer's house, and I couldn't live alone in my old house on Maple Street. Not anymore. The cancer had taken too much. The treatments had left me weak. The truth had left me tired. "Okay," I said, "find me a place." She did. Within a week, she found an independent living facility 30 miles away, a place called The Pines. It had a garden, a library, a dining hall, and most importantly, it had a lock on the door that only I had the key to. I moved in on a Tuesday. The apartment was small, 1 bedroom, 1 bathroom, a kitchenette, a balcony that faced the parking lot, but it was mine. I hung Richard's photo on the wall. I put Leo's handprint art on the refrigerator. I arranged my books on the shelf. I made the bed with my own sheets, the ones Jennifer had bought me for Christmas 2 years ago, the ones with the little blue flowers. I didn't tell Jennifer where I was. She called, she texted, she left voicemails that ranged from tearful apologies to angry accusations. I listened to all of them. I didn't respond. Mark called once, just once. He said if I didn't talk to Jennifer, he would take me to court for grandparents' rights to see Leo. I called Diane. She laughed. "He has no standing," she said. "Grandparents' rights are for cases where the grandparent has been a primary caregiver. You've been living in their house, helping with Leo, but you're not his legal guardian. He can't touch you. He's just scared. He should be scared. He should be." The weeks turned into months. I settled into a routine at the Pines. Breakfast at 8, a walk around the garden at 9, coffee with the other residents at 10, lunch at noon. reading in the library until 2, a nap, dinner at 6, television until 9, bed. It was quiet, too quiet sometimes, but it was safe. I heard from Jennifer on Thanksgiving. She sent a text. Just 3 words. Happy Thanksgiving, Mom. I didn't respond. On Christmas, she sent a photo of Leo opening presents. He was wearing the Star Wars pajamas, the ones I bought him. He looked happy. He looked healthy. He looked like he didn't even know I was gone. That hurt. More than anything. More than the power of attorney. More than the facility on Cooper Road. More than Mark's cold voice on the phone. The thought that Leo might forget me. That he might grow up without knowing his grandmother. That he might never know how much I loved him. I almost called Jennifer that night. I almost gave in. I almost said, come get me.
I'll sign whatever you want. Just let me see the boy. But I didn't, because I knew that if I went back, nothing would change. They would still see me as an ATM. They would still be waiting for me to die. They would still be planning their inheritance. And Leo would grow up watching his parents treat me like a burden. And he would learn that love is conditional, that love is transactional, that love is something you use until it's empty, and then you throw it away. I couldn't let him learn that. So I stayed. I stayed at the Pines. I read my books, I drank my tea. I watched the seasons change from my little balcony, and I waited. For what? I didn't know. Then one day, 6 months after I left, I got a call from Diane. Eleanor, Jennifer's lawyer, contacted my office. My heart stopped. What do they want? They want to mediate. They want to sit down and talk about a family arrangement. They're willing to drop the grandparents' lights case. They're willing to sign an agreement that they won't challenge the trust. In exchange, they want you to set up a college fund for Leo, $50,000, and they want you to forgive the $100,000 down payment you gave them for the house. I laughed. I couldn't help it. They want me to pay them for the privilege of being my family? That's one way to put it. What do you think I should do? Diane was quiet for a moment. I think you should do whatever gives you peace. Money can't buy love, but it can buy a lawyer.
And it can buy a future for Leo that doesn't depend on his parents' greed. I thought about Leo, his little face, his little hands, the way he used to crawl into my lap and say, "Grandma, read me a story." The way he smelled like soap and apple juice and childhood. The way he made me feel like I hadn't wasted my life. Set up the college fund, I said. But it's not for Jennifer. It's for Leo. And I want to be the trustee. I want to control it until he turns 18. If Jennifer and Mark try to touch it before then, it goes to charity. I'll draft the documents. And Diane, tell them I'll agree to supervised visits with Leo. Once a month. At a neutral location. A park. A library. Somewhere public. I'm not going back to that house. And I'm not letting them use him as leverage anymore. I'll pass that along. She did. And surprisingly, they agreed. Maybe they realized they had nothing to gain by fighting. Maybe they realized I was serious about the charity clause. Maybe they just wanted the $50,000 and were willing to trade Leo's time for it. The first supervised visit was at a park near the Pines. A small park, with a swing set and a slide and a bench where I sat and waited. Jennifer dropped Leo off. She didn't stay. Mark didn't come. It was just me and him. "Grandma!" He ran to me with his arms open. I picked him up. He was heavier than I remembered. Older. His hair was longer. He had lost a tooth. "I missed you," he said. "I missed you too, buddy." We played on the swings.
We went down the slide. We ate peanut butter sandwiches that I brought from my apartment. He told me about kindergarten, about his best friend Noah, about the class pet, a hamster named Mr. Whiskers. For 2 hours. I forgot about the betrayal. I forgot about the baby monitor. I forgot about the power of attorney and the facility on Cooper Road. I was just a grandmother playing with her grandson in the sun. Then Jennifer came back. She stood by the car. She didn't walk over to us. She just waited. Her arms were crossed. Her face was unreadable. Leo ran to her. "Mommy, Grandma brought sandwiches, and she pushed me on the swing super high." "That's nice, baby. Say goodbye."
Goodbye, Grandma. I waved. He waved back. Jennifer put him in the car. She looked at me for a long moment. Then she got in the driver's seat and drove away. I sat on the bench for a while after they left. The park was empty now. The swings were still. The sun was starting to set. The sky was that soft orange color again, the color Richard used to love. I thought about calling Jennifer. I thought about telling her the truth, about her real mother, about the affair, about the letter that arrived on my doorstep 43 years ago. I thought about telling her that I wasn't her biological mother, that the woman who gave birth to her didn't want her, that I was the one who said yes, that I was the one who held her, that I was the one who chose her. But I didn't. Because some truths are too heavy.
Because some secrets are better left buried. Because I didn't want her to have another reason to hate me. I just sat there, on that bench, in that park, at 73 years old, with $4.8 million in the bank, and no one to share it with. That was 3 years ago. I'm 76 now. I still live at the Pines. I still have my little apartment. I still have my books and my tea and Richard's photo on the wall. I see Leo once a month, sometimes twice if Jennifer is in a good mood. He's 8 now. He can read chapter books. He plays soccer. He still calls me Grandma. Jennifer and I don't talk. Not really. We exchange texts on birthdays and holidays. Short messages. Polite messages. The kind of messages you send to someone you used to love but don't anymore. Mark never apologized. He never acknowledged what he did. He just pretends I don't exist. Which is fine, because I pretend he doesn't exist either. My money is still there, growing. Diane still manages it. I've donated to a few charities, a local food bank, a women's shelter, a literacy program for kids. Small amounts, nothing that would make a dent. I think about what I'll do with it sometimes. I think about leaving it all to Leo, skipping Jennifer entirely, letting him have it when he turns 25. A fresh start, a clean break, a chance to be something other than his parents. But then I think about what money does to people, how it twists them, how it turns love into a transaction.
How it made my daughter look at me and see a dollar sign instead of a mother. Maybe I'll leave it to the ASPCA, or the library, or the food bank. Maybe I'll spend it all before I die. Travel somewhere, see something, do something. Maybe I'll finally buy that little cottage by the ocean Richard always promised me. Or maybe I'll just sit here, in this apartment, with my tea and my books and my memories, and let the money sit too, because it doesn't matter. None of it matters. Not the money, not the house, not the power of attorney or the trust or the college fund. What matters is that I loved my daughter, and she tried to throw me away. What matters is that I gave her everything, and it wasn't enough. What matters is that I'm sitting alone in a 1-bedroom apartment on a Tuesday afternoon, folding my own laundry, watering my own plants, waiting for a phone call that never comes. The sun is setting again. The sky is that soft orange color, the same color it was the night I left, the same color it was when Richard used to hold my hand on the porch. I think he knew. I think he knew that Jennifer wasn't really mine, that the love I gave her was borrowed, that the bond between us was built on a lie. I think he knew, and he didn't say anything, because he was grateful. Grateful that I stayed. Grateful that I raised her. Grateful that I kept a secret. But I'm done keeping secrets now. If you're listening to this, if you're a mother, if you're a grandmother,
If you're an older woman who has given everything to people who don't see you, hear me. Keep something for yourself. Keep something hidden. Keep something that no one can take from you. Because one day, maybe sooner than you think, you'll need it. You'll need it to survive. You'll need it to leave. You'll need it to build a life on the other side of the betrayal. I did, and I'm still here. The hydrangeas outside my window need water. I should go take care of them. No one else will. There's no one else left.